welcome back to another video. Today we have Dogmatika Zefra. Now this deck is pretty neat. Zefra is pretty easily able to put up at least an Omni Negate plus a quick effect pop pretty easily. All you need is access to Zefra plus any of your low scales, and especially with the Dogmatika engine it does become a lot more potent. Plus the Dogmatika engine can also it's also searchable because of the Zefra engine being able to just search any monster in the entire deck. I mean, usually you would rather just search a Gizmekaku with and then make a Calamities with some combo wombo if you're able to search any monster. But that's just one thing you can do. And I'll start off with the deck profile now. Starting off with triple Zefra if you want to see this as often as possible. You have tons of ways to search it. Terraforming searches Oracle, Zefra Providence searches it or Oracle, Oracle searches Zefra. You run Planet Pathfinder which searches Zefra, and of course you run 3 copies of Zefra itself. So in all I believe that's 12 copies of him, and 12 copies is like 85-90-ish% consistency if I recall correctly, but you are very consistently be able to get into him, which is the point of trying to make here. One copy of Gizmekaku. Gizmekaku is just able to since in the combo I'll show you in a minute, you're able to utilize him to summon Shooting Involved Calamities, which I'll showcase. Triple copies of Zefranu. This is the kind of card that you want to loop around as often as possible. Well, it's easy to loop it around because it is a pendulum monster, so it always goes to the extra deck. So what you're going to want to try and do is you always want to send it back to pendulum zone extra deck. You want to pendulum summon it every turn, and when it's pendulum summoned, you can search a card. The card you'll usually search first is 9 Pillars of the Yangzing, which can destroy a Yangzing card to negate the activation of pretty much anything. And when Zefranu is destroyed, you can search another Zefra spell trap. So you can search Zefra War, which is a quick effect pop in the hand. So just like that, if you're able to pendulum summon him, then just like that you have 2 interruptions, which is just super strong. Triple Zefra Tubin, this is your best low scale. It's able to destroy cards your opponent controls, which is pretty neat. And that's kind of its main use, just as a low scale and a nice pop. There are 2 copies of Planet Pathfinder. I really wanted to run 3, but deck size was kind of high, so I decided to just cut it down to 2. So you know, if you can cut other things, then do put it up to 3 if you want. The 1 copy of Zefra Wendy. This is able to kind of recur material from your extra deck, which is pretty neat when it's normal summoned. So in case you want to, if you're running like out of scales, if you destroy your scales with something, you can add stuff back to your hand. You can scale it and then pendulum summon again, which is pretty strong. Triple copies of Zefraxi. The reason why we run 3 of this, not only is it a low scale, which you do definitely need in the deck, it also gives access to your Calamities combo, which as I said I will show you in a minute, by turning cards you control into a tuner, and turning cards into tuner also gives you access to Halki Fibrax. And with Halki Fibrax, if you're able to make Halki Fibrax too, if you've already burned through your Calamities combo earlier in the game and like failed or something, you can go into a Baxia during your opponent's turn, which can shuffle back a card your opponent controls, any card, and is a quick effect. And on top of that, I believe, yeah, it can just special summon stuff from your graveyard and pop stuff. It's just a really strong card, which I'll show you in a second. That's kind of it for our Zefra monsters. Next we run Terraforming. For Oracle, we want to see it as often as possible. Providence, it protects your Zefra cards, and you want to see it as often as possible because it searches anything. It's just a rota for the deck. Triple Oracle searches anything. On top of that, you also have to have access to this for your little Calamities combo. The 1 copy of Zefra Path. This is a really strong floodgate. It says neither player can special summon monsters except from the hand or the extra deck. So your opponent cannot summon from the graveyard, they cannot summon from the deck, they cannot summon from the Banish Zone. There are just lots of things that Zefra Path does just block out, and it's usually an instant win versus certain matchups like Dragon Link. Like you can summon tokens too, you can summon tokens of Link Cross, you can summon cards from deck of Halki Fiber for LP. It's just a really strong floodgate. And then for Zefra Crops, we run 2 war. The reason I run 2 wars is because you usually burn through one with Zefra, and it is really good regardless, because as long as you're able to activate Broken Hand, your opponent can't Lightning Storm or Feather Duster you for it, so it doesn't just go to waste, which is pretty strong. The one copy of Zefra Divine Strike. This is an Omni Negate, and it can do a neat thing where if you have Cycling or Lambda in field and Zefra Wendy in your extra deck, you're able to use Divine Strike. It banishes the Zefra Wendy from your extra deck, and then I believe you can use the Lambda in order to get a search, if I recall correctly. Oh no, it's only a face up. Yeah, it's only a face up. Sorry, my bad. But still, it's a Divine Strike is still pretty strong. It's an Omni Negate, and Omni Negates are always good. The one copy of 9 Pillars of the Yangsing, it's usually just so you use it one time and that's it. It's an Omni Negate, and it doesn't even destroy the card, it shuffles it into the deck, which is probably the best way to use it. So if they have a monster reborn or something to recover a monster they use, 9 Pillars just helps a lot in terms of that. On top of that, it also gets the extra advantage by destroying a Yangsing you control, so it doesn't even have to be a face-up monster, it can even just be a Yangsing in your Pendulum scale, which is just even more powerful. Next, for Dogmatika engine, we run 2 cups of Fleur de Lis. Fleur de Lis is a quick effect monster negate. I was debating on whether I want 2 Fleur de Lis or 2 Punishment, and I decided to just go with 2 Fleur de Lis because I want access to my extra deck more often than not. So I just decided to go with the 1 Punishment, and it also helps a ton in terms of if you're trying to OTK, it's able to make everything you control gain attack, which is pretty strong. Triple Ecclesia, you run Triple Ecclesia, it's very easy to get a monster special summon from the extra deck, because when you special summon a monster from the extra deck, it counts as a special summon from the extra deck. A couple copies of Disciple of the Nadir. Disciple, it searches anything on top of sending a Titan Clad, so you're able to set up a Punishment and a Fleur de Lis, which is really strong. And finally, the Gamma package. I run it because you have easy access to Lambda, and if you have Lambda, then you should definitely run Gamma too, since the extra deck isn't too tight. Next, we run the 1 copy of Titanic Clad. Titanic Clad, you use it to search for the Lis during your end phase after using a Disciple. That's kind of its only main use. The 2 copies of Nitis, we run 2. One is usually for punishment, and the second can usually come sometimes in Disciple of Nadir if you're going second. The 1 copy of Ravenous Conquer Dragon Arctis. This comes up in your Calamities combo. You can easily make it if you're able to Pendulum summon both Zefroxy and your Zefranyu. Zefroxy turns one of them into a tuner, and then you Synchro summon into a Crocker Dragon, and Crocker Dragon draws a card. And if you also use Oracle's effect, when you Synchro summon using a Zefra monster as material, you're able to stack any monster you want on top of your deck. You use Oracle as Chain Link 2, so you stack any monster you want, such as a Gizmekaku, then you just draw it off your Architect, so it's like you search something from your deck, and then Gizmekaku can summon itself, and since you have 2 level 9s, you can go into Calamities. The 1 copy of Omega, you can sometimes send it off your Dogmatika stuff, but it's mainly there in case you're able to trigger your Gamma during your own turn. Baxia, it's mainly used with our Formula Synchron, where if you're able to make Christian Halki Firebrax with a Zefran on field, you can banish the Halki Firebrax in Formula, and then you'll use Formula, draw a card. Then you can go into Baxia during your opponent's turn, which is just another interruption. On top of that, during your turn, it's a Southwest turn. You can pop a card you control, and then you can special summon 1 monster from your graveyard. So in case you have like an Ecclesia in your graveyard or something, that can come up. Or if you have a Pathfinder and you want to just get another Search of Oracle, that can come up. Baxia is just another super decent card, and since it pops the card, in case you're popping something like a Zefranyu, you can get even more advantage of that, which is just insane. So one Baxia for sure. The 1 Quantum Dragon, it's criminally underrated. It is so good at OTK. It's able to bounce cards, so if you attack an extra deck monster, it's just like, it's non-targeted, non-destruction removal. It's an out to Dragoon. It's able to out lots of cards if you're able to bait enough negates, which pretty much any control deck can do pretty easily. It's just super good. It's able to it's just a really good card, so you should definitely run it at least 1. The 1 copy of Metaphysics Horus, it's pretty good. Well, it's not good. Good is an understatement. It's really, really awesome. It's if you're able to synchro summon it. Usually, you're synchro summoning it using, say, your Zefraxi and your Zefra Wendy, or if you make Halky Vibrax, you use your Zefra 2-bit plus a Gamma you summon off Halky Vibrax. And if you're able to make both of them, then when you synchro summon this card, since you're using a pendulum monster as material, you're able to take control of a monster your opponent controls. So your opponent chooses the monster, but it's still a +2, I believe. Yeah, it's a +2, which is absolutely insane. And what is even more insane is because if you take control of the monster your opponent controls, you're able to make Dampier Vampire Sheridan, and that is a really it's another absolutely insane card, and I'll get to that in a moment. And Memphis Horus, also when it's synchro summoned, you're also able to negate the effects of another face-up card on the field. So you're able to negate the effects of another monster your opponent controls, which is really good. It forces your opponent to use certain cards earlier than they should, which is pretty strong. And Memphis Horus, it's just a really, really strong card. We run the one copy of Shrieking of All Calamities. I explained the combo just now. You make Crocosaur, you add your Dogmatika, you summon it, then you make Calamities. Some say you should run Cyberstein instead of Gizmaikaku. The thing is, also run Plant Pathfinder too, so I don't want Cyberstein to kind of conflict with that. So you know, we gotta do what we gotta do. The one copy of Dampier Vampire Sheridan. Now I'll explain this card. If you take control of a monster your opponent controls with Memphis Horus, you can treat it as a level 6 monster for your Dampier Vampire Sheridan. So that is an instant rank 6, and once per turn you can detach one material from this card and send a monster your opponent controls to the graveyard. So that's a spell speed 1 pop. What's so great about that? Well, what's so great about that is that it's also able, if a monster your opponent controls is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon that monster to your field. So that is some even more pluses, and it doesn't even negate the effects. So if you send, I can't really think of anything right now. If you want, you can choose like a Herald of the Arclight they control, and like in their graveyard, and then you can take control of it, and that Herald will be live, which is pretty insane. So it's able to just generate a lot of advantage on top of being able to send multiple cards your opponent controls, which is absolutely insane. The one copy of Access Code Talker to end games out of nowhere. The one copy of Lambda is really good if you're able to get it on the field, so that's nice. The one copy of Gravity Controller. Sometimes you need to get your Yang Zings into the extra deck for the effect of Zefra Divine Strike, so that's why if you just need to link it off in a hurry, we can go with the Gravity Controller. On top of that, it's able to non-target just bounce a card your opponent control. It's basically a Grand Mole, and it can't even be destroyed by a monster in the main monster zone, which is pretty strong. And finally, we run the one copy of Halky Vibrax, as I stated. You go into Formula Synchron during your opponent's turn, then you can go into Baxia during your opponent's turn, getting a lot of advantage on top of being an extra disruption, which does come up if you either don't just have the levels. Well, you usually have the level, but if you've already used up your Calamities combo, you can definitely fall back to Halky Vibrax, and it's just a really, really neat setup right there. And that's the deck. I will be showing you one or two combos right now. So for combo number 1, we just need any way to access Zefra, and gonna go ahead any low scale. So let's grab Zefra 2-bin for example. Zefra plus any low scale will activate the low scale, will activate Zefra, and then we'll use its effect in order to send a Zefranu from your deck to the extra deck, and then it'll copy its scale, which is scale 7. That means you can pendulum summon your Zefranu, and then you'll use the effect of your Zefranu, which will be searching out your 9 pillars of the Yang Zing. You can set the 9 pillars, we can special summon our Ecclesia, and then we will be able to use Ecclesia's effect, searching a copy of, say, Fleur de Lis. And this is a setup And in total, this setup is 2 negates and a pop. I'll just show you in a moment right now what if our opponent does something. If they try to activate Oracle, you can go ahead, use the effect of 9 pillars, negate it by popping your Zefra, and then we can use the effect of the Zefra we just pop in order to search Zefra War, which is another it's just another negate. So if our opponent say scales the Zefra over here, we can go ahead, activate Zefra War, which will be able to pop it. I would usually recommend popping Zefra Tubin so that if we are able to pendulum summon it, it's another pop. What Zefra just does so great is it's a sheer amount of advantage they can generate. If they like summon Ecclesia, they use its effect. Oops, you can like you get the idea. If you still have the Zefra you can still kind of summon Fleur de Lis. So that was a bit of a misplay, but if they have a monster summon from the extra deck, or if you have a monster summon from the extra deck, you're able to just summon Fleur de Lis and negate it for free. So let's kind of go to combo number 2 now. And combo number 3, it's another like 3-card combo, but as I said, it doesn't have to be specific. All you need is access to Oracle of Zefra, plus access to Zefrat, plus any low scale, and either a Zefranu or a Zefraxi, which has to be your kind of 3rd card. So whoops, I'll be cutting that in a moment. And for our next combo, it's kind of another 3-card combo, but all you need is any way to access Oracle of Zefra, plus your Zefranu and your Zefraxi. What you're going to search with Oracle, whoops, I need to cut that too. Here we are, we have another 3-card combo. All you need is any way to access Oracle of Zefra, plus you're usually once you activate Oracle of Zefra, you can search any of the missing pieces you have over here. You need a low scale plus a Zefraxi plus Zefrat. If this was a high scale, then instead of Zefraxi, you would search a Zefranu, because then you would be sending the Zefraxi with Zefrat. But what we'll do, we'll scale the low scale, we will scale the Zefrat, and then we will use its effect in order to send a Zefranu to our extra deck. Now we will pendulum summon both our monsters, and pen summon both of them. We'll go summon Zefraxi, summon Zefranu. We can chain block our Zefranu to make sure its search goes through. So if they like Gamma over here, they can't. If they Gamma over here, we still have a search. So we will be searching 9 pillar Zefra Divine Strike. The reason why we do this is because we will not have the Zefra monsters on the field, because we're going into Ravenous Crocodile. Don't forget to summon it in the extra monster zone. We can once again chain block our Crocodile over here too, which is pretty neat. We'll use Oracle of Zefra, stacking the Gizmekaku, if I can find him. Yes, he's a level 9. And then our Crocodile will instantly draw it, so we can theoretically just search anything. We'll activate the Gizmekaku, which will special summon him, and then we will overlay into Calamities. We'll set the Divine Strike, and just like that, you have Calamities plus a Omni Negate, which is really strong. If they, for example, during the standby phase, if they try to negate it, we can just activate Divine Strike, negate that in his effect. If they have, you usually want to wait till the main phase, so to play around cards like Gamma and Imperm. So if they try to activate it, you can just activate Zefra Divine Strike in order to negate whatever they have, and Calamities will resolve successfully, usually without any problems, which is just super strong. This deck is like a meta ender. It should definitely be banned. So those are some combos, and let's go back to a bit of an overview type thing. So we're back with the deck, and in my opinion, the deck is extremely consistent. Like, You have tons of ways to get your combo pieces. Ecclesia or Nadir are really good because Ecclesia can even work as a normal summon since this deck doesn't use a normal summon much unless you have the planet Pathfinder. So in case you don't have access to all of your Zefra pieces, which you usually do because you have so many ways to access them, to cards like Oracle, Providence, Terraforming, Pathfinder, Zefra, and any of your 6 low scales. It's just really consistent. Zephyr War is a pop, Zephyr Divine Strike is a negate, 9 Pillars is a negate, Path is another just floodgate. You can easily use Gamma because Lambda exists. You don't really mind too much linking off into Lambda. You don't really have anything better to link off into. It's just really strong, and you should definitely try out the deck. The extra deck is pretty lenient too. You can realistically run whatever you want. And before leaving, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, as it really does help the channel. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.